Good morning. Good morning. Hey, I got Dr. Chapa in studio. The topic is allergies. If you are hearing my voice, if you are able to watch and access this stream, smash the share button, copy a link, and we're going to be sharing some good information as we talk about allergies. If you have questions, feel free to ask them to me. You can email me, KHEA at KHEAradio.com. Send me a text, 346-704-1806. You can also shout out to Dr. Chapa's office, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Their phone number is 281-554-8600. Check out his website, justlivewell.com. I'm going to kick us on the FM as we are talking about allergies. Guess what? It's allergy season, right? That's what I hear, at least. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. That was Citizens Way, All My Cares. Guess what? We have an artist coming in studio. Well, he's not coming to studio. He's going to be coming into our buildings, but we're going to have a KSBJ concert here. Yes, I know you're probably wondering, this is KHEA. Why are they saying KSBJ? But we have a KSBJ artist coming in. It's March 15th. If you want to find out more information about that, go to alcc.org, and you can find out all about it. I'm not even going to say his name, but go to alcc.org. We're going to be giving away some tickets to that concert really soon, so make sure you stay tuned. I got Dr. Chapa here in studio. This is Kickstart. My name's Gardy. Smash the share button if you're watching on Facebook. There's a lot of information I'm getting out in a little bit of time. And the topic today with Dr. Chapa is allergies. Is it seasonal allergies? Some people are maybe bringing it on themselves because of their diet. But we're going to be finding out all of that today. Dr. Chapa, good morning, sir. How are you doing today? Are you experiencing any allergies?
I am not. Achoo. I'm not. No. Why are my eyes watering?
Yeah.
No, if you've got itchy, watery eyes, if you've got seasonal allergies, if you're already being affected, I can't believe, it's weird and crazy to think that weather can shift and change the way it does in the seasons, and people can start having issues 2 weeks before allergy season. I mean, it's not technically shouldn't be upon us yet, but we've been seeing the start of it about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and really a kind of a fast start yesterday. And so it goes without saying the season is shifting. Even though we're coming out of this Texas winter, allergy movement, seasonal changes are coming. And so guess what? I mean, if you are one prone to itchy, watery eyes, if you're one prone to stuffy head, congestion, drippy down the back of your throat, and you are kind of sick and tired of dealing with the lung stuff, the congestion in your chest, or some of these sinus issues turn into lung congestion or infections, we've got answers at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. My name is Dr. Aaron Chapa. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is here to help and serve our community, giving them alternatives to drugs and surgery, teaching people how to live better, how to be better, how to stay better, one bite at a time.
Dr. Chapa, are you somebody who, in the past, today, suffered from seasonal allergies?
No, allergies have never been like environmental allergens, cat danders, dogs, cats, animals, never been a major thing. And now I have gone and played at some of these kind of farm areas where they have like hay swings and this, that, and the other, and how much fun those can be, and then walk out of there feeling a little bit like my eyes feel funky. Mm-hmm. And there was this one friend's house that I would go to, which was really interesting story. It was up in the Tomball area, and every time I would go to their house, I would feel the symptoms of allergies, like pretty extreme, like lots of sneezing, lots of drainage, and they didn't even use pesticide. They didn't even use like hard cleaners, but I don't know, something in their house, like my body just said absolutely, positively no to, and I have suffered with it, but not something that is a reoccurring thing. I have patients that come in that it's every year on the nose, boom, it happens, mm-hmm. and then we start working them on programs. And allergies are a little bit funny thing because allergies are a downstream liver problem, and the liver's not processing the environment like it's supposed to. It's like the filter's dirty, the lymphatics can't keep up with the liver can't keep up with the lymphatic drainage, and then therefore it backs up into the high sinus or the high lymph system. That's your ears, eyes, nose, and throat. And even skin could be allergy hive type thing, and so a lot of times people coming in don't realize, they think it's all ears, eyes, nose, throat stuff. And it is. That's where the suffering is transpiring. So they reach for over-the-counters. They reach for medicines to stop the check engine light instead of recognizing that their body's communicating a message saying, hey, whatever you're sitting around, get out of there. It's not it's not helping you. It's not serving you. And we have to be cognizant of that. Now, would it have been nice if I could have figured out exactly what it was that was triggering off my situation, or if you knew exactly what it was? Some people know, like there's a lot of apps today that you can download in order to find out if mold's high or if, different allergens are up, and you can figure out what things are yours, or if you know that you've got dander issues, poor cat, you got to get rid of it. Dog, people have had to get rid of animals over this stuff. I mean, sometimes it is, a very serious situation.
Sometimes just people suffer through. I was talking to a friend the other day. He has 3 cats, and he said, I have 3 cats. I'm allergic, but I just decided to live with it.
Yeah, and I've got people that do that.
It's tough.
I mean, it's amazing what we do for our animals and stuff like that. But the good news is we have answers. I mean, there is a reason for why a person has allergies, and there are things that they can do to start slowing down that process. And we have to first start looking at what symptom patterns do they have. So what does it look like to have an allergy? So itchy, watery eyes is the traditional thing. Drippy down the back of the throat is common, not normal. None of these are normal symptoms, right? Unless you're exposed to something like kind of temporarily toxic in the air, and it disrupts your ears, eyes, nose, throat, and your body says, oh, got to reject that, so it does the process to sneeze it out. It's when these things continue beyond a reasonable state where your body starts to feel the aftermath of symptoms, where you're waking up in the middle of the night, struggling with some of this stuff. I mean, people really they deal a lot with the suffering of pet danders or dust in their house. And then once the seasons change, the weeds, the grass, the pollens, the cedar fever, like if you're in Austinite, everybody's got a thing. And but these are all things that if your body's filtration system is healthy, your lymphatics can drain effectively through the liver. Your body will process out allergens as it's supposed to, instead of letting it sit and reside in your high sinus or your ears, eyes, nose, and throat system.
Yeah, I'm not someone who has allergies when it comes to pets, but I am someone who does have that drip and tickle down the back of my throat at times, and it causes me to cough. But it happens, and then it goes away. It could be like a year.
Yeah,
or 2 years or something.
And so when it happens like that and it's just random, it's probably something like in the environment. If it's drippy down the back of the throat and it's constant, and this is how you differentiate between an environmental allergy versus a food allergy. If it is constant all the time, never, ever, ever seems to go away, chronically seems to progress into clear drainage that you can typically spit up, hawk up, whatever, turns into a white creamy, into a yellow, into a green, and it always seems to go infected on that like that. That's typically a food allergy that is something that's continuous that way.
Okay.
And whenever it's environmental, it's typically what we call a non-infectious allergy, and it's something that is in our environment that's stimulating us to not feel like we're supposed to, so our body gives these negative responses. And the drainage that you typically see are going to be clear drainage. And the clear drainage is your first sign that it is a non-infectious allergy. And then if you want to take that a step further, just because this does happen, especially in early onset, viral infections, is you get, the clear drainage to kind of sort of white with a clammy, feverish, achy body system that typically is your viral patterns setting in. And then, so knowing your terrain, so to speak, allows you to kind of dictate which direction of alternative medicine are you going to take. Because if you have a sinus cold, you don't want to use antivirals particularly to support the immune system. You want to use things to support the bacterial nature of the symptoms that you're having. And the same goes as if you're dealing with allergens, or this happens a lot of times. People will come in and they will get exposed to they'll start having issues, headaches, migraines. They'll start getting fatigue and tired, and or rashes and hives, and they just had their house sprayed for bugs yesterday, or the building that they're in, was fumigated yesterday, and so we have to be mindful of the environmental pollutants that we're getting exposed to on the regular. And I see this a lot with golfers on Sunday. Like their allergies are worse on Monday because they played golf on Sunday, and so it is. Golf courses are some of the world's most toxic places because of the amount of chemicals used, fertilizers used
for the grass
to make that grass as beautiful as it is.
But it looks really good.
Oh yeah, looks great on the surface as long as you can tolerate the chemicals. But you're breathing it in. You're reaching down, grabbing those golf balls. You're picking up grass, watching the grass go to see which way the wind's blowing, and you notoriously probably are snacking on some seeds or something, and not out there with something to wash the chemicals off your hands. So now you're ingesting chemicals, breathing chemicals in, and then you don't drink enough water, or you drink other things that dehydrate you, and then all of a sudden now you've got a high concentrated burden of chemical, and you've increased past your body's tolerance, and your body's tolerance ratio now shifts into symptom land, trying to do survival techniques in order to get rid of the funk, the filth, the waste that you've got built up in the tissue, and then you're suffering,
That's why I don't golf. It's not worth it. The risk and the reward.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Your father-in-law, he golfs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear he's a pretty avid golfer, pretty good.
Yeah, my brother-in-law too. He golfs more than everyone.
Yeah,
maybe ever.
My father-in-law is a amazing golfer. He can still hit the ball on the screws 300 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes it look easy, and I'm like, man, I wish I could just do half of your game.
For Christmas, my mother-in-law went and got me like a pass, like, hey, some golf lessons, because golfing, I'm just like, I don't golf, I don't know how, and now I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, just the allergies. The risk to reward. I care about my body.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm going to gift this to someone else.
Yeah. Well, at least you have now a gift to give somebody else. What a blessing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. My father-in-law's birthday comes. It's in the summer, and that'd be a perfect gift.
It's one of those like gift exchanges. The gift just keeps getting recycled.
Yeah. No, they'll use it.
Yeah.
They'll use that.
So yeah. So that's just like environmentally, things that we're exposed to that are chemically induced, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like whenever it is indeed pollen, and you will see it here pretty soon, you're going to see the yellow, the greens, the residues starting to settle on the ground when it rains. You're going to see the corners of the street or the sides of the street be have that yellowy film, so to speak, that is creating issue down the runway there.
Mm-hmm. Yuck. That sounds gross. But right now it's 9:12. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart, and we have Dr. Aaron Chapa. My name is Gardy. If you're looking to get a hold of Dr. Chapa or his office, you can reach out 281-554-8600 or go to his website, which I think is the coolest name, justlivewell.com. You can go and fill out some information. I think I have an appointment with Dr. Chapa, I think tomorrow.
Sweet.
I think tomorrow.
Well, that sounds good. We'll check you out and make sure that all your non-infectious allergens are handled and taken care of.
1:30.
So that's cool, man.
Yeah, and you have a really cool system. It like texts you and emails you like, hey, you have an appointment coming up, 48 hours, and then the same day and everything. So it's really easy to be able to make sure you get in, and your office is very helpful as well.
Well, we really do strive to make the learning experience of how to integrate health and wellness into your busy lifestyles. We know that people are looking for information, and being able to find that information is not always easy. And so when people come into our office, we recognize that they have a mountain to climb. And so we don't want them to actually feel like they're climbing a mountain and make it hard. We want them to feel like it's something that they can eat an elephant one bite at a time, like one day at a time, one decision at a time, one lifestyle modification at a time. And so when people come in, we never start with what we call a cookie cutter kind of approach. We give people the opportunity to share their story with us. And in sharing their story, we have the ability at that point to find out where is a very logical place to start. And then we start them down the road. There are patterns that our bodies carry, and allergens are just one of those patterns that people deal with. And whether it's kids that are dealing with allergies, or whether it's adults that have been suffering for their life about allergies, or people that are constantly going and getting allergy shots. If that's you, your body is dealing with a common thing that is not normal. And that means that, again, something upstream is awry. Your liver, or I say downstream, your liver is backed up, your bowels may be backed up, and your lymphatics are now struggling. So things back up into what we call the high lymph system.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can get people to start utilizing these tools of liver upregulation, liver detoxification, if we can get people to take some of these allergen drainage remedies, we have a very powerful place to start. So, one of the things that we like to use when people are dealing with non-infectious allergies is a product that stimulates lymphatic drainage. So we have a product called Allerplex, and Allerplex is pretty much Spanish moss, Spanish black radish, fenugreek, and several other factors that give the liver a boost. But some of these, top ingredients help dry up our upper high sinus system and allow the lymphatic system and the liver system to drain the excess flooding, so to speak, off more effectively. And then all of a sudden, they don't have the symptoms that they were experiencing. And you can get a very quick response using something like Allerplex. And this is from a company called Standard Process. And we carry this at our office. So give us a call, 281-554-8600 if you need some. And Allerplex has been around for quite some time in my office. I've used it for the entire duration of my clinic. And it never ceases to amaze me how effective it is for any type of allergen. One time I was in a pinch, and my son was stung by, I think, a wasp or a bee or something. And so stinging insects is a form of a non-infectious burden, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would have rather have used plant enzymes in this case, but at the time he was a little kid, he couldn't swallow them anyway. And I had Allerplex on me, and we were out in the country. And so I got some baking soda and Allerplex, made a little poultice out of it, and with some water, and stuck it over the area, and an area that was really red and irritated and sore, swollen a little bit, and it had probably been swollen about 2 inches maybe in diameter, and it wasn't didn't look like severe, like something I was really concerned about, but definitely something that was a bother to him. And I slapped that baking soda and Allerplex on there, and I just left it on there. And we left it on there about 10 minutes, and we went back, washed it off, and I was just shocked at how quickly the inflammation had gone down. So the cool thing about anything you put on your skin, you should be able to put in your body, and vice versa. Anything that you put in your body, you should be able to put on your skin. And so this was, in a pinch, this kind of bailed me out. But the reason it bailed me out is because it has the ability, and you have lymphatic system, subcutaneous to the skin. I was able to help mobilize the topical stinging insect poison away from the site and get it into the system so we could drain it out. And I think, and a lot of times it will draw it straight up through the tissue as well. And I think that could have been a contributing factor as well. So it's fascinating when we have tools in our tool bag. So knowing which tools do we need to get through situations. So when I travel, there's certain things I take. And when this type of season comes around, Allerplex is on the shelf in case somebody gets it and that's in our home, or one of our friends or family come over and they're dealing with it. We got some stuff to offer them. And so Allerplex has just been one of those key nutrients that has helped us serve people with non-infectious allergies that are dealing with any itchy, watery eyes, or any drippy down the throat, or feeling that they're having sneezing attacks, or they just feel like their head is full of crud. And then we shift into, like, okay, what do you do for kids? We have a cool product, an adult version and a kid version of this EnviroForce, and this is going to be some of your traditional support factors. But one of the things I like to always see is it's got N-acetylcysteine in it, which is great for the liver. Every allergy product should support the liver in some capacity. And then it'll have your bromelain, your stinging nettles, and your quercetin in it. And those are products that will help clear the body's drainage systems more effectively and de-inflame. That's what the bromulin's in there for.
What's the difference between the Force and the Force Junior?
The Junior is a chewable, tastes like a sweet tart, and then the EnviroForce for adults is a little bit more potent. Again, it's for adults, and it's a capsule.
Why wouldn't everybody just want the chewable sweet tart one?
Sometimes I will just break open the sweet tart ones just for the heck of something that tastes like a sweet tart. I mean, I'm telling you, it is mind-blowing how good it tastes.
Sounds good to me.
It does. And so it's just again, teaching people what tools to use when they are in a bind is what we're after at Living Well. We don't want you to feel like it's a pill for an ill, like an over-the-counter or a Benadryl, because, I mean, there are people that are literally living on Benadryl. There's people that are living on over-the-counter allergy medications, getting allergy shots on the regular.
I got a question about what does an allergy shot do? Because it came up earlier, and you were saying, hey, some people just go in and getting an allergy shot. Is that bad to do? I mean, does it help?
Anything, in my opinion, that crosses over your natural buffering systems is not your best first line of defense. And what I mean by that is we are to eat food, and food should be consumed via our chewing mechanisms, swallowed into the system then allow it to process across the lining of the GI tract. And so and then it's absorbed into the system, and the system chooses assimilate, use it for something, or reject and excrete it. And that's what your digestive tract is doing for you, and that's a beautiful thing. And you don't have to be as cognizant or worried about what you're putting in your body. The allergy shots are going to be on the same line of like a vaccine. They're supposed to upregulate your body's natural defenses against whatever they're warding off. The challenge and the problem with it is they use these things in it called adjuvants, and these adjuvants have a tendency to be more toxic than beneficial, and they stress the immune system out. They bypass the natural buffering systems, get straight into our blood supply, and they create an acidifying effect on the body, which then creates typical immune responses, which is what they want, but it's not natural. Nothing's supposed to go past your skin in that fashion. And so what I find is the preservatives and these adjuvants and these chemicals that go along with the substance that we're trying to protect against create more havoc neurologically, more havoc immunologically long term, and disrupt the natural body's way of downloading software. The way we're supposed to download software is you're supposed to cough and I'm supposed to breathe it in. My kids are supposed to go dig in the dirt and suck on their fingers. And people are like, oh, I mean, don't do that. I mean, heaven forbid. But the reality is the more we become germaphobes and the more we are afraid of getting our hands dirty, so to speak, or fearful that people are sick around us, we are forgetting that we have a body as and more powerfully adaptable than the bugs that we're subduing. And at any point in any relationship, your body is subduing the creepy crawly things, or the creepy crawly things are taking control of you. And so we want to make sure that your body is doing what it was functionally designed by God Almighty. Thank you, Jesus. We love you. For giving us an opportunity to live out life on this planet and in a body that is adaptable. It has the ability to figure out what it's up against and to deal with it. I mean, think about it. If you had to remember to turn on your sinus drainage pathways,
I'd forget.
You'd forget.
Yeah.
If you had to remind your heart to work several times a day, there'd be a lot less people on the planet. We have to remember that the body is a fully functioning system, and a lot of it's functioning without your wherewithal, involuntary responses and actions. That is a miracle. That is amazing.
What about blinking?
You
don't really have to think about it.
You don't think about it because but I mean, you can think about it, right? That's kind of a cool thing. Now you're making me self-conscious. I'm just kidding. But I mean, the blinking is one of those things that is natural to when your eye needs a bath, the windshield wipers need to kick on, your eye blinks. And it is stimulating your ducts of your eyes in order to drain and do things. And so there's when you go out and you are playing in outside and you get a big gust of dirt hit your face, you kind of squint and close your eyes. You got eyelashes to protect your eyes. You got your eyelids to close to seal the eyes, and still things get in there, and then you have to kind of work that crud out of the eyes. Or people that wake up with crud in their head and they got like what we call the Sandman came and visited you last night, the sleep in your eyes. That, I mean, you might have a little bit of that, but if it is green, yellow, brown crud, that's infection coming out your eyeballs. Okay,
like pink eye. I know that. Yeah, you get crusted over.
Yeah, and that's even a little bit more of an infectious process. And a cool little thing about that, just for people that are curious, you can take straight liquid colloidal silver and drop colloidal silver into your eyeball. It's very anti-infective, very safe and okay for your eye, antimicrobial to clear the issue. Then take a hot pack and do a hot compress several times throughout the day. And then we use a product that we've used in the past called Congaplex, 15 a day, and you can knock out pink eye really, really quick. And it is just amazing. None of this is treating pink eye. What this is doing is supporting the body's natural elimination pathways. And that's ultimately what we're doing anytime, every time we're working on people and their symptoms. Why we call it, that's why it's not a pill for an ill, because we're understanding of the physiology. We're driving the physiology so that your allergic response is more effective, so that your body's immunological response is more enhanced and enlightened. And so we always want to, treat downstream or upstream depending on where the symptom shows up and figure out why is that going on. I had a patient yesterday, brought her child in, and she was like, all right, well, what other program, what can I take off? What do I need to stay on? And I'm like, all right, well, let's just, before we talk about what you're needing to refill or whatever, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? How was the month? And she's like, she kind of had that look like it wasn't really good. And I said, all right, so A, B, C, D, She goes, maybe D, F, like not good. It was a bad month for this kid, And I'm like, oh, okay, what happened? Well, we haven't had our, products for 2 weeks, and they're still very new inside of 90 days. And they've got a lot of liver toxicity and bowel issues, which I'll find often in kids. The bowels back up into the liver, stress out the liver, then the symptoms start coming in. And so what we found, though, is after about a week off the plan, and this happens early in the process because we're not at the what we call supportive care phase, where the body is able to do the work on its own, right? It's still needing help from the outside, and that's where we're at with this case. And we had to just encourage mom, hey, look, you proved it to yourself. You ran out of the therapy, and the body failed to finish working efficiently, and you started seeing setback. And that happens. So you can be encouraged a little bit in knowing that what you were doing was working, because and you're going to see the same thing. When you find that it's not working, it's typically because we are not working it. We're not, I always joke around, people that struggle with, one of the reasons I don't have a whole lot of rules and hoops to jump through when taking the supplements is they don't work unless they're out of the bottle and in your mouth. You know what I mean? One of my mentors he's in his 70s, and he looks great. I'm blown away by him every time I see him. Skin looks great. He's lean as can be. He feels great. He's robust and energetic, and he is all over the country teaching, a good 30 weeks out of the year. And he's got a banging practice. He's serving a lot of people and just loves the work, right? And I'm like, all right, so doc, tell me, you have just like exceptional genes, or do you just take a lot of supplements, or a whole lot of supplements? And he goes, well, it's a whole lot of supplements, really, but it's really a whole lot of swallowing.
A whole lot of what?
Swallowing.
Oh, swallowing.
Because at the end of the day, they don't work if you don't take them.
Yeah, you can buy everything.
Yeah, but if you don't use the tool, it won't serve you in the way that it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. And so then we start looking at other factors. All right, if it is the liver, what do we do about it? If it is the bowel, what do we do about it? And we have to start healing, sealing, and detoxifying the gut. We have to start detoxifying and cleansing the liver. And so we use a product called Liver Force. And Liver Force is going to be your dandelion, artichoke, turmeric and milk thistle type product, and that product will support phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And we love seeing people work on the liver. I have yet to meet somebody that didn't have a liver issue of some kind contributing to their problems. And I can literally comfortably walk up to you and say, "Hi, Mr. Liver." "Hello, Mrs. Liver." "Oh, what's going on, little liver? You got a cute one." And everybody's got a liver challenge to some degree. The liver's the giver. The better we take care of our liver, the better the liver will take care of us. And it will help you alleviate symptom patterns, all kinds of symptoms, not just allergens. I'm talking the liver is involved in every single pathway of the body. Some people have, science says that we've got 600 known pathways, but every pathway the body has to offer, the liver is involved, absolutely, positively.
Wow. So if somebody has an issue, they're coming in, they're dealing with something going on in their body, odds are there's an issue with their liver. That's one of the most likely, causes, or the root of the cause.
The liver, yep. And
Wow.
And so we always want to focus on the liver. 80% of the time, the problem is in the bowel backing up into the liver, you see, because the bowel is your number one exit channel. Your bowels have to move 1 to 2 times a day. People are shocked when I say that. I had a lady yesterday, and I said, "Do you have bowel movement every day, daily?" And she goes, "Oh, no." And I'm like, "Stop, what do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, twice a week, maybe once a week when I was a kid." And I'm like, "Whew, no wonder you've got all these symptoms. You scored 110 on a test you should have gotten less than a 10 on." That's our toxicity questionnaire. And we do have some fantastic, by the way, health surveys at justlivewell.com that will allow you to do some health assessments on yourself. Justlivewell.com, and look at our health surveys. It should say "Take a survey now," and it'll give you some insight to some of the health challenges that you may be dealing with that you don't even realize are symptoms. A lot of people don't know how to assess their body. Therefore, they don't know anything's wrong with their body. They think, "Oh, I'm just getting old." No. If you have symptom patterns, if you have itchy, watery eyes, if you've got drainage down the back of your throat, if you sneeze a lot, cough a lot, you walk outside and you start sneezing, you get up in the morning and you're sneezing, if your ears are clogged up, if you feel like you've got lymph nodes swollen under your jawline or in your neck, these are all things that we see and people just kind of turn a blind eye to, thinking, "Well, I've been dealing with this for 3 months. It ain't going away. I guess I got to live with it." It's like we accept status quo instead of pushing past that. And I just want people to grasp and realize that you don't have to suffer needlessly. We can do things with better intentionality and using resources to get the body to cleanse and clear. So we started working on the bowel. Because what will happen is if the bowel, the exit channel, is blocked, slow, or sluggish, so it doesn't even have to be stopped, you see. So like in that case, that's one a week is bad. But what if you're a person that just you go every day and you think, "Oh, I'm fine," but you don't realize you're pushing out 3 days ago's food, and just through mere volume and gravitational feed, what is down in the bottom of the hatch isn't what was in the top of the hatch. Or what if you got stuff stuck on the walls of the bowel that just need to be power washed? We power wash our cars, we power wash our concrete, but we don't think about ever needing a good cleansing of the bowel. And the bowel, there can be so much health and resource understanding of why you're suffering tied up in that system. And if you're eating fast food, for certain that your bowels need to be cleaned. Because what happens is then your liver is like a 6-lane highway straight to the bowel. And if your bowels are dirty, stopped, sluggish in any way, I call it dirty bowel syndrome. That's where you have anywhere from 10 to 15 meals caked up inside of you. You could have, 4 or 6 days of trash waiting to be eliminated from the body. The liver has to process and figure out, quarterback, where am I going to put all this trash? So it stores some of it in the brain. That's why people can't remember why they walk into a room. Or it stores it in the joints, and that's why people get arthritis, or what I like to call arthrongus, because I don't think there's anything rightus about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate because people are indeed suffering with joint pains needlessly. And then the body stores it in fat cells, and that's why toxicity in fat cells, the fat cell can swell up 7 times the size of normal. People are not fat. People are toxic. If you get rid of the toxicity, the need for the 7 times the size fat cell to be there is less necessary. And then your body will even start withering away fat globules instead of producing them, and you will actually start losing inches, losing fat mass, and then your metabolic system kicks on, and you start feeling more alive, alert, and vim, vigor, and vip comes back. The stamina comes back. Your mental clarity comes back, and you feel like, whoa, I'm the man, or whoa, man. Whatever.
I'm the whoa, man. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Just melt away the fat.
That's that's what everybody wants,
fat
right?
cells, shrink.
And these are just your storage facilities, right? You got to remember, you still have the areas of exit that your body uses. And so as a secondary exit strategy for the liver to quarterback to, it pushes things through the lymph system. And if things get stuck in the lymph, it's infection. That's when it converts. And that's because there's so many bacterium in your lymphatic system to basically neutralize the acidic nature of the toxicity that's floating around your chemistry. And if it goes at the acidic capacity that it is, it will burn a hole in your kidneys. It'll mess up your kidney function. And that's where we start seeing a lot of sluggishness and issue in and around urine flow, swelling in the lower extremity, blood pressure changes and problems, and or, again, the joint swelling causing pain in the body, not necessarily from the storage that we spoke of earlier. And so we say, all right, well, the lymphatics and mess up your kidneys? Yeah. And so then another secondary exit channel is your high sinus, your high lymph system, and that's your ears, eyes, nose, throat. Well, there's whole doctorate professions built around ENTs, isn't there? And I mean, and they're treating the symptom, not getting to the underlying root cause. So I don't want you just to reach for Benadryl. I don't want you to reach for some anti-allergy, medication. I want you to reach for something that supports your natural body's elimination pathways, your natural lymphatic drainage pathways, and your liver filtration pathways, and your body will use that 6-lane highway to excrete things out the appropriate channel. That sounds great. That's what we need. And then if that isn't bad enough, another secondary exit channel that we have is our lungs. So there's whole professions built around that. They call those pulmonologists. And these guys study asthma, air hunger, excessive, exertional asthma, COPD, any type of thing going on with the lungs, and they're trying to figure out why people are dealing with some of these issues. And the lungs are just being used as an exit channel. That's why, when I'll teach people about sleeping habits, is that the lung meridian is most active between 3 and 5 in the morning. And interestingly enough about that, that's why when most people are snoring or have asthma attacks and have challenges, because the liver is turning off and it's outgassing waste and trash and filth through the biochemical factory. Always has a smokestack, that's your lungs, and your sewer system, that's your bowels. And so the liver is just a phenomenal vessel, and then of course the body will use the skin, and that's where people go see people for skin rashes or eczema, psoriasis, or acne, or whatever is going on, swollen lymph nodes, or who knows. And whenever you start seeing these symptoms popping up, you have to go, is this the cause, or is this a symptom of something else? And 9 times out of 10, it is a symptom of an upstream, or in this case, downstream issue with either the lymph, the liver, or the bowel. And we have to go address those tissues and clean them out. And I hate to say it's that easy, but it is that easy. And it's not always simple.
It's easy to say.
So it's not. Yeah, that's why I say it is easy.
Yeah.
It's not. It's simple, but not easy, right?
Yeah.
It might be better to say it that way.
Yeah. So here's a question. This is from Ashley. She says, one of my kiddos produces a lot of earwax. She also struggles with allergies, mostly in the morning. Could this be linked to the extra earwax? Is that something that could be tied together?
Absolutely. So either your earwax is like snot coming out your nose, or drippy down the back of the throat, or even production of stuff out of your eyeballs. And so this is your body communicating a message to you. So one of my little kiddos that comes to see us, we have a very large family practice at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. So I work on kids, and it dawned on me yesterday, just as a quick little rabbit trail. I'm working on this little guy, and he's probably 20 months old, and I'm working on his digestive tract. And it dawned on me you're not going to a doctor and then we're going to mess with a kid's bowel. They might, look in their ears. They might look at their eyes. They might weigh them or, see how long they are, tall they are, or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're not going to tinker with their abdominal canal or cavity. And I, believe that and have read several places that the digestive tract is not fully developed until 26 months. And that's if done right. Appropriate breastfeeding times, appropriate introduction of foods, and most of us don't do any of that. So let's just say it's 32 months,
Okay.
and it is what it is, right? I mean, it can only be as healthy as the resources it has to get healthy. And so I'm sitting here poking around and prying and mobilizing and stimulating this little kid's bowels, and I'm finding like, oh, there's a gas pocket, there's an area of restraint, there's some congestion, and we have to work on these things. And so, as a family practice guy, having a big family of my own, I mean, I take care of them. Like if they get sick, I fix it. Like we're working through the process and giving their body the tools and resources to overcome. And this is what is going to happen. We don't, when we listen to your care plan, it's not just, evaluate, treat. It's evaluate, think through it with you, find the next logical step, and then give you a plan of attack on what you can do dietarily and what you can do supplementally in order to restore function back to your kid. And this one little one that came in had earwax pouring down their ear. I mean, it was just pouring out. It smelled bad. The smell was it was terrible. It was dark in color, and it was just uncontrollable. And this was going on for about 4.5 months. And it took us about 2 months to get it under control, about 4 months to get it to stop completely. And but they were dealing with chronic earaches, chronic pains. Obviously, these create developmental challenges and developmental issues for the child. And so we want to be aggressive in how we clear allergens out of the body or clear excessive wax buildup in the ears.
So what'd you do with the kid to get the earwax to stop?
So one of the things that we did was remove food allergies from them, which we can talk about more next week. But we just started evaluating the food that we were putting in, because you always have to recognize if you have symptoms that are chronic and turning into reoccurring infections, they are typically due to something we are doing. A lot of times the food that we give our kids thinking is food, there's more nutrition in the box that the thing comes in than the actual substance they're eating. And that's unfortunate, but true. And so it could be, I had one kid, it was sugar. I had one kid, it was dairy. I had one kid, it was wheat. I had one kid, it was corn. I had one kid, it was soy. I had one kid, it was chocolate. And so we try to figure out where are the food allergens that these people are dealing with, and we work on what we call the big rocks first. Stephen Covey talks about it in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is you always focus on things that give you the biggest bang for your buck, the biggest return of, effort and resource put in. And so we look at what we call the most common food allergens, and these will help decrease the inflammatory tolerance load in the body, and the body will be able to deal with mobilizing the infection down through the lymphatics, through the eustachian tube, into the lymphatics of your axilla, armpit area, and then into your liver so that you can poop it out, or that you, if you have, to pee it out. We look for some other excretion channel than it going out your ears or your eyes or your skin, So your skin and your eyes, your ears aren't really great exit strategies. It's supposed to be just more of an exchange of oxygen into our lungs and carbon dioxide as a waste, as well as our skin, changing our body, regulating our body temperature. So like when you find that you've got dirty pores, that's your body pushing toxins, non-infectious toxins, typically out the skin. When those pores get really nasty, like everybody's seen those videos, those YouTube videos of people popping, nasty things out people's skin, that is an infection that got gummed up. The sewer line got clogged at the pore level, and it just built up until it became something grotesque and nasty.
Do you watch those? Are you fascinated by those?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I'm going to dissect a human cadaver in 2 weeks, so
Curious.
I love anatomy. This will be awesome experience because it won't be a body that was loaded with formaldehyde and chemicals. It'll be as if, a person dies today, I'll be dissecting them tomorrow. And so I love it. Like, the body fascinates me, and I love how God created it. I believe wholeheartedly, and I'm thankful for people that donate their body to science so people like me can go learn more about the physiology, build the mind's eye so that I can help people see what they can't see.
So are allergies pretty much an alert, a warning that the body just naturally puts in that says, hey, you need to change something, and we just get used to it and ignore it?
Or we've been educated that there's a pill we can take, a pill for an ill, and we take that pill for an ill to subdue the symptom that we don't like. The problem is that doesn't fix the underlying problem. And so one area that we haven't really discussed yet, but another area that we can use is looking at amalgam fillings or dental crowns. These are non-infectious chemicals that cause a burden to be carried by the body, and it hits a tolerant point in its ability to handle it well on its own. And so you start developing allergies because of a burden in another department. If you look at how many, if you could juggle, how many balls can you juggle?
3.
All right. Can you do 4?
Let's stick with 3.
Yeah.
I don't know about if I can do 4 yet. Yeah.
So now, the reality. Now, let me ask you this: can you juggle inside outside or outside inside?
So what I do is I go under over.
All right.
So I don't do like I don't know.
Yeah. So
1.
So now try to change it. Go inside to outside. So you're going to go. I don't know how. It's the balls are going to go inside to outside, and then throw it outside to inside, and see if you can juggle that way.
Probably not. No.
And so your body is really resourceful and adaptable at rearranging its strategies on how it's going to deal with the tolerant load it carries day in and day out on your behalf. Again, a lot of these things you don't even know are happening, and that's what is so powerful about the body. The body wants to give you a gauge on where it is at and give it but through these symptoms, but you don't know 90% of what's going on in your body. Like, you don't feel your heart beating right now, you don't feel digestion happening, although you ate something an hour ago. You don't feel the synaptic lightning happening in your brain at millisecond speed. Does that make sense? Like, it's smooth. If you're a break dancer, you're really smooth. You know what I mean?
Wait, do that again.
No,
Here, let me switch that camera.
All right.
If you're a break dancer,
and
that's pretty good.
And so, wasted past, I guess. Although maybe the brain always is like playing with new toys. The brain loves stimulus and loves food. But you don't know what your body's dealing with on the regular. And so when it juggles things on your behalf, sometimes it makes mistakes or it gets overwhelmed, just like we do. And so if you have to deal with something in the toxic department, in the immune department, in the digestive department, and oh, by the way, I'm dealing with life stresses. Oh, by the way, I'm haven't got good sleep in the last 4 or 5 days because of those life stresses. The balls are starting to drop, and you're starting to get symptom patterns that you weren't genetically born with. And when you start thinking of physiology this way, you start realizing that there is a method to the thought process of how we've been designed. What part of the watch tells time? All of it. There is no one part of your watch that tells time. I know you're like thinking, oh, it's the second hand. Okay, well, let me disconnect the second hand, and it won't tick anymore. Therefore, the hour won't move, and the thing don't work. All aspects of the gear systems and all the parts of it make it special. And so we've got to look at the body the same way. All parts of the body is necessary in affecting or having an effect on another department. So if we overwhelm one system, say in the example of chemical toxicity or metal toxicity, then maybe you have more food allergies than you should have. And now you're draining toxins out your ears because you can't get it out your bowels, you can't get it through your liver, you can't get it out your lymph. Your body's going to find another area to get rid of the waste or to deal with the waste in some respect. Why does one person gain weight and some person gets earaches, but the cause is the same? That is a mystery to me. I don't know why the body chooses one path over another. I think that's our gene code. I think that's where your genetic genotypical blueprint plays a role. Every one of us that are living west of Eden. That means we're not in the Garden of Eden. We are, of the fallen, sinful man. We have problems in our body called denaturing. It's degenerating. And so your mom and dad can only give you a blueprint as healthy as they have in their own chemistry. And we discovered this from Francis Pottinger, who did a cat study, who looked at generationally, it takes 3 generations to destroy and denature a gene code and cause mutations, cause birth defects, cause infertility, amongst other issues, lifespan reduction, all that, vitality gone. And then how many generations to restore that? 3.
I was going to guess. I was going to say 5.
Yep.
But it makes 3 to destroy it, 3 to create it?
Yeah, more or less.
Cool.
But the reality is if you have one blueprint that never is altered, right? They have it perfect. Then you have one that's been derailed for 3 years. Do they ever really catch back up to the superior one that never got derailed? Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the damage is done beyond measure, and that is the gene code. But can we change the epigenetic expression of our gene code all day long, every day? That's why we look today at gene SNPs, and we can see lifestyle effects on genes. We can express different aspects of the gene code in order to help the body upregulate itself. Somebody told me just this morning, and I'm going to have to go look it up, but just the very acceptance of Jesus Christ in your life will change your DNA. And I believe that. Every tissue, cell, organ, gland in my body, different, changed. Every atom that makes up every molecule that makes up a cell or an organ system to function the way it was designed and created to function, functions better knowing that the Holy Spirit's running in and through me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty exciting to me. And so, but the cells can only produce at a high level function if they are a strong cell. If they are a congested, sluggish, lazy cell, they're not going to do good work for you. So then whenever you have chemical burdens, like we were talking about with the amalgams or the dental issues going on in the mouth, then this is another layer of toxicity that the body has to deal with from a burden. And, when our bodies are full of toxic load, as the burden goes up, the body just wears out. It should be able to handle it all. But just like you can only juggle 3 balls, or I can juggle inside and outside, I can't go forward to back. I can't throw a 4th one in. I just can't figure out how to do it. The body starts to fail in function as well. So that we always go back to form, function, and fuel. How do we get the body back in the right form in order to create and feed it the right fuel, so that we get adequate, proper function out of it? And so we're always trying to play a little bit of catch up, because all of us have a chink in our armor. We all have a little bit of weak space that needs support, love, and that's what Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center offers, because all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition absolutely positively is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to spiral out of control or to get traction and move forward in a positive direction. So no matter what your gene code is, you have a phenotypical expression of that gene code that you can resource, fuel right, stimulate right to get a better outcome and performance out of the tissue. Even if your parents have heart disease, even if your parents have GI trouble, even if your parents suffer from migraines, even if your parents have cholesterol problems or allergies or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Chapa, you are getting hyped. There was a comment Ashley said, Chapa is getting hyped up.
Apparently.
Why?
Yeehaw!
Why are you so passionate about this stuff?
Well, because people are suffering needlessly, and they're wandering aimlessly. I almost feel like we're, in some respects, Israelites in the desert wandering around trying to figure out stuff. And we just need to remember we're 11 days away from our promised land, and keep getting closer and closer to our victories. And so I get excited about it because I have answers for people. I have resources for people. The biggest challenge that I deal with in working with people is they have a microwave mentality. They want it done, and they want it done yesterday. Whenever I work with people, I tell them, and I'll tell everyone that here's my words is like, if you stick with me long enough and you follow through with the recommendations that we make for you to the best of your ability, you will get better. Everybody does. And are there struggles? Are there going to be mishaps? Are there glitches in the system that slow down one person's care over another? Oh, yeah. But that's, this is one of the things the best thing I was ever taught in practice, to take no credit and to take no blame. I didn't cause you to get well, and I didn't cause you to get well. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't cause sickness. I can't create wellness. I can only feed your body well so that we get better function in order to get a better result. And because whatever results that you may be having right now that you don't particularly care for or like, or you don't want to be manipulated by the weather or worried about what the weather does day in and day out in order to dictate how you're going to go out and function in that world, I believe that there's things that Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center offers: lifestyle principles, diet modifications, supplemental intervention, detox processes, things that we can do to offer you to live better, be better, and stay better, one bite, one lifestyle choice at a time. It's your life, it's your health, and guess what? It's your choice. And I think that when people grab that, they realize they can take the bull by the horns. They don't have to wander aimlessly anymore. They don't have to suffer needlessly anymore. And then they can get back in the game of life, so to speak, and they can fight the good fight. They can serve well. They can be well, and they can be an inspiration to those around them that are maybe, needing a mentor or a little a poke and a prod to get up and get going.
Yes. Dr. Chapa, we have a couple minutes left. Why should somebody share this stream if they're watching on Facebook? Why should they share this?
So one of the most encouraging things that you could do for somebody is to share a message that will give them insight and information to help them live a better life. That people today just don't know that there's options available. We've been educated wrongly that, everything is about getting older, or it's all stuck in your gene code, and that if you have symptoms that you got to do this pill for an ill game. My encouragement to people is share this information with your friends, family, and loved ones, because I assure you, somebody in your immediate circle, somebody in your extended circle, somebody in somebody else's, immediate circle that's in your extended circle is going to be impacted this season by allergies. They're going to be having these symptoms, whether it's a rash, whether it's the itchy, watery eyes, the drippy down the back of the throat, the ear issues, the congestion in the head that converts into an infection in their chest. All these things can be prevented and or limited in its overall impact on us if we stay proactive. We've got to get people moving forward fast enough in order to get them ahead of the wave so that they ride the waves of life instead of getting pelted by the waves of life.
I agree. Dr. Chapa, how can somebody get a hold of you and call your office? So
I would say that Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we have a great website, justlivewell.com, 281-554-8600. And we have we're on the air with you guys every week. So KHEA Radio has a great app. We would love for you to share that app with your friends, family, loved ones. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes. And I mean, we're like taking over the airways, and this is our space. And so we're glad to be here with you, Gardy, and what Abundant Life offers on this wonderful radio station. And I look forward to more time and servitude here with all the people. So when you guys have questions, make sure that y'all ask, and make sure that y'all share this with your friends so they can ask, and we can just keep the sharing happening. They'll say,
just share it out.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. So right now, I pulled open the KHEA radio app. If you're watching on Facebook, or if you're listening in your car on 99.5 FM, it's easy. You can actually listen to the audio there now. So if I hit listen now, it would play back exactly what we're saying right now.
That's totally rad.
So if you're outside of the 99.5 FM range,
don't worry. We got
issues.
You covered.
Yeah, we got you. And then you can actually go and watch Chapa Talk right here is what we call it on there. So you click that, and guess what? It's every single episode for over a year of Dr. Chapa coming in to KHEA Radio on Tuesdays talking about health. And
that fires me up, dude.
I could just look at me scroll. Look at me scroll. Boom, boom, boom. These are all every segment that he's been on. So that's accessible to you for free. Go check it out.
All right. God bless you, everybody. Have a great week.
This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.